But let's begin this morning with a surprisingly tame inflation report. The producer price index showed no change in June. The PPI tracks wholesale prices and is still up about 2.3% from 1 year ago. The new data could suggest President Trump's tariffs are only having a marginal impact on the economy. CBS News correspondent Natalie Brand joins us now from the White House with more on that. So, Natalie, how is the White House reacting to this new report?
Good morning, Vlad. The White House touting this report. We got a new statement from a spokesman who says today's expectation-beating PPI report showing wholesale prices stayed flat in June is yet more proof that the Trump administration has swiftly tamed what it calls is Joe Biden's inflation crisis. That new statement following this report. But it comes as everyone, economists, analysts, are really trying to gauge the impact of tariffs as we barrel closer to that August 1st deadline. Of course, the White House, the administration, in a flurry of negotiations with various top trading partners as these letters, more than 20 of them, have been sent out threatening these higher tariff rates. So everyone is really bracing for that with, the numbers of each of these economic reports. Yesterday's CPI report, which did show a higher reading, the president kind of downplaying those numbers, saying that it was exactly as anticipated, and once again called for the Fed to lower interest rates. We've seen the president's rhetoric against Fed Chair Jerome Powell ramp up once again yesterday, even saying talking to him is like talking to a chair. That is a quote from the president. All of that, of course, coming before another key meeting later this month.
All right, Natalie, another headline we're tracking this morning. The president says he's pushing Texas Republicans to redraw the state's congressional map to make it more favorable for the GOP. But then when he was asked in that same interview, what if California attempted to do the same, he said he would stop it. And of course, Governor Gavin Newsom has attacked him on that point.
Yeah, this all points to the growing anticipation around next year's midterms. The campaigning has already started, really. And if we look at Texas, of the 38 congressional districts, 13 were won by Democrats last fall. So the president is now pushing for redrawn congressional maps that he told CBS News could yield up to 5 new Republican seats. This is something that will be considered in a special legislative session very soon. Now, Texas Democrats pushing back, of course, saying that they believe these new districts would violate the Voting Rights Act and attempt to really dilute the power of communities of color. But at the end of the day, why this matters. Republicans losing just 3 seats across the country could flip control of the U.S. House during next year's midterms. And that's something that the president is trying to head off. It's something that happened during his first term. Vlad.
All right, Natalie Brand for us at the White House. Natalie, thank you. All right, let's get back to the economy. Although producer prices stayed the same yesterday, the CPI index report seemed to confirm inflation is starting to hit people in their wallets. I want to bring in Stephen Cates. He's a certified financial planner and a financial analyst with Bankrate and joins me now. So, Stephen, what does the PPI tell us about the impact that tariffs are having on consumers at this point, just ordinary folks, and what they're paying for stuff, for items at the grocery store and in their daily lives?
So I think it's important to break down the PPI report. Although it is flat, there's 2 important components in there, both services and goods prices. Services prices fell in June, goods prices rose. And it's goods prices that are really most susceptible to tariffs in the first place. The other factor that's really important to look at is that May, so the last month, or I should say 2 months ago, was revised upwards from 0.1% to 0.03%. So that's nearly a tripling in the actual PPI for a couple months ago. That revision is important to recognize because it's showing that prices are rising faster than we thought they had just a month ago.
Let me ask you about the White House's so-called crypto week. It seems to be a big priority for the administration, but what does it mean for? It's a huge priority. So, but what does it just mean, again, for people who are either wondering what exactly crypto is, perhaps people who are interested in investing in it, and perhaps people who might be somewhat apprehensive about what it all means?
So for people who are uninitiated to the cryptocurrency industry, the main signature bill this week is about stable coins. And those are essentially representations of a dollar put onto the blockchain that can ideally facilitate trading amongst cryptocurrencies or commerce where they may be used, let's say, at a merchant like a Walmart or a Target. How those are actually going to impact the consumer immediately is kind of hard to predict because it depends on how quickly some companies move to implement them. But the biggest impact of these legislations is going to be to people who own cryptocurrencies because they are certainly getting some nice price boosts out of them. And it's certainly going to impact Congress and the administration, who have been raking in hundreds of millions of dollars in lobbying.
Wow. All right. Really interesting. Stephen Cates, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it. Turning now to capital.